and click on the banner on the top right. Click on the banner on the top right, and please register to become a member of the club. Please go ahead and let's do so. I will take a very brief break out here, ladies and gentlemen, before I come back. Please keep on hitting your share button. Go ahead, hit your share button. Hit your share button. Please do not touch your remote. I will be right back.
Are you tired of going from dealership to dealership looking for that used car that perfectly fits both your lifestyle and your budget? Are you bored with the same old tactics, the same old styles, and the same old disappointments when you don't find exactly what you want? Are you frustrated because of bad credit or tired of being rejected of in-house financing? Are you tired of going from garage to garage for a car? How about that filthy old car that you used to drive? Are you done? Welcome to the new experience. Barico Auto Sales has sold and financed cars to over 50,000 people across the country. Our exclusive in-house financing model allows us to provide flexible options for all. Enjoy low rates, free pickup, and award-winning customer service. Reserve today. Barico Auto helps make car renting easy and seamless for all of our customers. Our financing options allow you to shop our vehicle inventory for the exact used car, truck, or van that best fits your needs. Car selection and customer satisfaction are of great importance to us. We provide the best mechanical repairs, and our services take just minutes. Detail your car with us and get out of that filthy old smell and into something sweet. We will even do your oil change at the lowest rate. And please do not forget that with Barico Auto Sale, you own and drive your car before you even have to pay us. So come on down and visit us and drive away with your new car.
Barico Autos, own and drive before you pay. 240-486-4664 www.mbaricoauto.com.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's a privilege to be back with you here today. Now, I was talking about ABC Amber Club. If you have not yet registered, please, I am appealing to you, go now to the website. Go now to the website, www.abcambertv.org. To register, there will be a banner. There is a banner on the top right hand side of the website. Click on that banner to join the club. You click on that banner to join the club. Please, let's do that. Okay, and also I would also like to remind you of the prison project. The prison project that I came up with 2 days, was it a day or 2 days ago? The prison project I came up with 2 days ago. I want to appeal to you. You heard the so-called decree signed out there today by French Cameroon authorities. They want the international community to believe that they have freed prisoners in their country. But nothing can be further from the truth. They have not freed our own people. The prisons in Boya are not freeing anybody. The prison in Bamenda are not freeing anybody. The prisons in Yaoundé and Douala, they are freeing Francophones. I made a phone call to those prison centers today, and I have been informed that the only people being sent out are Francophones, not Ambazonians. I see some audios circulating out there to the effect that some Ambazonians have been freed. That is not the case. That is not true. But at the same time, those our brothers and our sisters are lamenting behind those bars. They need their freedom. They need their freedom. And I am here appealing to you. We can help freedom. We can help freedom. That is why I launched this prison initiative asking 20 Ambazonians who care about these, our brothers in prisons in Bamenda and in Boya. If we care, please show up and let us sponsor this project and see how we can free our people. I have seen some stuff out there in the social media criticizing this initiative. I know that there are Pharisees out there who hate when something good is about to happen to some people, and some Sadducees who hate to see anything good happening to good people. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have to prosecute this revolution until Boya, we must learn to ignore all that we see out there in the social media. I think if most of us here at the interim government were working by what we read and see in the social media, we will not be here. We will not be here. The message I send to those detractors and enablers out there is that, hey, you have lost the battle. You have lost the battle. You lost it because nothing you say, nothing you write, nothing you put out will get us out of here. Only caterpillar. It will move us out of here. When Ambazonian people say, hey, Chris, you're no longer doing a good job. You are becoming a liability. Hey, I will not waste a day here. But until they say so, only caterpillar will come move me for here. Some who wanna no worry. I wanna they out of the fear say all this noise and small gossip, small blackmail where them they do out there, it will make me Chris come up for here. No, that one never will happen. Wanna not fear that one. So please, the information is there on your screen. The information is there on your screen. Support this prison project. I need 20 Ambazonians who will support this project with $1,000 each. However, I know for sure there are many out there who cannot give $1,000. Even though I want to count so much on those $1,000. By the way, I think we have about 5,000 by now. Yes, I think we have about 5,000 I think 5,000. We'll have about 5,000 and some change right now. People have been generous within 2 days. So please, I need more people. And let me assure you out there, those of you who are putting down this money, I will work very, very closely with you in the prosecution of this project. I will work with you. I will get all of you together. We will sit down and talk about, and I just need to brief you, inform you about how the project is being executed. This is not something we're going to do from a closed door. Absolutely not. Those of you putting down the money, I will brief you and continue to update you as per the progress of the project. So please, you are going to be involved. I need 20 people. I think we've got 5 so far. So please, if you can put down $1,000, you have the information there on your screen. The email and the phone number, the WhatsApp number, you can leave a message and we will contact you, or I will contact you personally. So please, I need the 20 people. If you want to call me today to make your pledge, that is also great. That will be fine. So please, but the information is there on your screen for this project. La République du Cameroon, ladies and gentlemen, isn't going to free our brothers in Boya. They are not going to free our brothers in Bamenda. Only we, all of us, are going to have freedom. This is a very, very serious project, and I'm pleading again with every one of you who can afford $1,000. If you can afford 500, 200, 300, somebody call in, get 400. Got I think the mother to also call in, get. So please, let us do this. Let us take the ball by the horns. That's what we need to be doing right now in this revolution, because it just appears La Republic isn't prepared to listen to us. We have to take the bull by the horns. That is what this prison project is all about. And again, please go ahead, get that information on the screen, use it to contact me or call to make your donation. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have hit over 700 people already. I will at this moment like to introduce my guest who is joining me somewhere from the west. And I am talking about the one and only, he like to be described as a Muslim scholar. I will give him both two titles today. An activist for Ambazonia and of course a Muslim scholar. I am here referring to the one and only Comrade Abdul Karim. Comrade, it's a pleasure having you here today, sir.
Thanks for having me, Secretary Chris. Let me begin by praising God, and I ask him to send his blessings upon his messengers, prophet, righteous people who have lived, to our suffering mothers, to our brethren, to our comrades in the prisons, to those who've left us and fell in battle, and to you particularly. I want to commend your effort and servicemen, selflessness and sacrifices to free homeland. And yes, I agree with you. Now only caterpillar go come out for day. Thank you for having me.
Now you know that some people will be very mad and sometimes jealous when you say that, right? They don't like it. I call them Sadducees and Pharisees.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's unfortunate that it is coming from our own circles. What we can do is pray for such people and that they repent. And it is for them to regret if they are not able to repent at this particular time.
Well, it's a great privilege to have you here on ABC once more. The last time we tried this was on ground zero and the network was so bad. But right now, look at the difference with the underdeveloped countries and the developed countries. They call it the third world and the first world. Whosoever did that classification, I don't know. But the difference is so clear. I look at your image, it's like you are sitting in front of me. It's so crispy clear. So, again, thank you for joining me here today. I hope you're having a good time over there in Canada.
Oh, well, you can say that to God be the glory. He has done many great things. You can imagine I've traveled through Europe, come to Canada, and amidst even the pandemic, I traveled to the north of Canada, very close to Alaska, and I'm back, and yet I'm negative with this particular pandemic. So we thank God, and all we can do is feel sorry, pray for our people who don't have food in the first place, and now they have much more punishment vetted on them by this barbaric regime. And we pray that they also stick to a simple advice that has been given them by the interim government, particularly simple hygiene and social distancing, and of course rejecting any vaccine that our authorities would not sanction. We can only pray for them and ask Southern Cameroonians to reach out. This is the time to reach out to our people and help them. We need to give what God has given us, especially talking about the diaspora. And yes, you're right. A third world country is a third world country, but trust me, we have the expertise. I by myself, I can permit me boast. I by myself can provide such internet services for Southern Cameroons. Once we are free, we can do this. I just ask myself, what the hell is wrong with Africans? And permit me say that. What the hell is wrong with us?
No, you are correct.
You know, there's a fiber optic passing through the Atlantic everywhere, and we can have basic internet.
Right. Unfortunately, it's a shame. However, let's get into the issues. Today, La République du Cameroon, the dead man who is supposed to be alive, according to their actions, signed a decree. Allegedly, I'm using the word allegedly because some people think that prisoners are being freed, but it is not actually the case. I have listened to some audios talking about the freedom of some prisoners. What have you heard? Can you tell us what you have heard, please?
Oh yeah, I think it would be surprising if we don't know that the kingdom and empire of La République de Cameroon has been run for 58 years and more by decrees. But what we should know in this particular instance is that this decree seems to be coming in absentia, like others, but this one particularly would almost seem like we have Jesus Christ rising from the dead without the crucifixion, because there's a lot of news coming from La République that they cannot find their president. Actually, they picked one of theirs in Douala because he asked to see their president. This is a pandemic that has swept the world and put the world in a stalemate for the first time in the history of man that we can know. And this man has not come out to address his people. And what we get is a smoke screen. Why do I call it smoke
Wait,
screen?
let me
It's a
hold
smoke
on,
screen
sir. Let me stop you there a little bit. I announced a day or two ago that Paul Biya is dead. No, I'm not. I don't want to put this in your mouth. I am saying it. ABC is saying it, not Abdul Karim saying this. But I want Ambazonians and whosoever cares out there to take it from me that Paul Biya is dead. Those who are signing decrees and putting his signature in it, they are his cronies who are still sitting in for him and plotting what will happen in a few weeks to come. Who replaces Paul Biya, or what happens in that country a few weeks to come after they announce it? Because I know in a very short time they will be announcing this, because they can withstand Mr. Biya not showing up at their 20th May celebrations. So I want Ambazonians and maybe French Cameroon citizens out there to know Paul Biya is dead. He is not alive. Yeah, but you can go ahead. The degree has been signed, and what do you think? What do you know are the provisions of that decree?
Yeah, well, permit me comment on whether he's alive or not. As a Muslim, I wouldn't say that. We will go more with evidence, but it goes without saying that he's absent, and he's absent in a time that begs a lot of questions. Whether he's dead or alive, really, to me, it doesn't matter in the first place. His decisions don't really bother me anymore. Basically, yeah, what I've heard about this decree, number one, any Southern Cameroonian who is thinking that this decree in any way has helped our people, what we should remember is that, number one, our people have no business being in anybody's dungeon. They have been there for long. I've been there. They lock up even our mothers, daughters, sisters, and children. Some of them are being raped and they put to bed like in Boya by the hands of the military. Some of them have infections on their penis and all of these things. Number one, they didn't have to be there. But now other countries who have criminals in their jails have released more than 40,000, according to reports we get from Ethiopia. A lot of countries, just because this pandemic is much more devastating than any crime one can commit in the world. For him to be left to the torture of such a disease that takes away your breath and gives you the torture of your life before you can die. So Southern Cameroonians must know that this decree, by the way, doesn't allow for any of our comrades to be released. I checked with some councils, already councils, not cancel, because there's not supposed to be any council on our land for now. But our lawyers, yeah, they have confirmed with me not a single one of us has been released. But of course, a few people from French Cameroon have been released already. What we should and must be doing, we should be doing our stuff, Southern Cameroonians. We should do what we can do. What we can do is the only thing we can do. We should focus on the thing that is. Let's leave a little bit what has passed and what is in the future. What is? We should be focusing on that. And you know, this also is a decree that people should learn from their mistakes. I was thinking to myself when you told me we should come on today, I was thinking to myself that Southern Cameroonians pretty much have to look at their successes. We must learn from what we've achieved and how we achieve them, and focus on
We
those.
are going to get there. We are going to come to that. But let's get back a little bit to these prisoners' release. Now, something I learned, a number of these prisoners coming out of Kondenge, being freed, are being intelligently tailored to Ambazonia. Now, we do not know who among them has contracted the coronavirus, but what we have learned is they are being asked to move into Ambazonia. The government will literally take them there, maybe have them in a hotel and look for housing for them. We don't know. But this is very, very dangerous to our people in whose case not even a single case of a coronavirus has been reported. But this is what we are hearing. What do we say to our people in a situation like this?
Yeah, again, yeah. So our people must not forget the usage of mask, hygiene, social distancing. Our people must avoid these large crowds. And by the way, what you're saying is correct, because not being a medical practitioner, but if you follow this thing, how it's been working, it's not an airborne disease. It's a human carrier. We carry the disease. So what are governments doing? They are trying to isolate those who have it, see if they can treat them, or if God takes them, that is okay, and make sure that it's not transported. But you see, a careless government that has allowed aircraft from infected countries like France to come in, flooded the country, and then they have cases which are on the rise, and they have allowed that to circulate in the prison. They are now releasing people instead of taking them to a quarantine position where they'll have to quarantine for a minimum of 14 days, treat them amongst other diseases, not just the corona now, before letting them into the society. But it is alleged, as you rightly put it, that these people are being left into space. Again, this is why I was saying Southern Cameroonians must focus on their own issues. While we listen to the international news, to the international stories, to the international development, we must focus on our own positions. We must focus on our own medicine. We must focus on our own hygiene. What do we do? What do we do now? Essentially, is that Southern Cameroonians should be able to report strangers in their communities to their quarterheads. This is what would happen in, for example, your country today, Secretary. If you're on a lockdown and you've been told to do quarantine, if neighbors will see new people roaming around the street, they will report immediately. These people should be able to be reported. People should stay at home and try and report new faces that they see. Because if these things should be true, that perhaps there's a possibility of La Republic trying to export this pandemic that has put the world on its knees into a zone that hasn't got it. Because God has seen our suffering and is trying to get this cup passed off. They are doing their best because this is what is going to give them a safe passage. Our people must stay on guard, and not just our people on the ground. Diaspora has a big role to play. Diaspora must coordinate their intellect, their ability, the wealth God has given them. Diaspora, you did not do anything special to be where you are or to have what you have.
I was
God
told
chose you for now.
I was told before coming on live that the interim government is actually about doing a huge fundraiser to raise some funds to support Ground Zero, buying face masks and whatever that can go to help them on Ground Zero. But the problem that I have with Ground Zero is that Ground Zero is not taking instructions. We stopped them from taking mass transit buses to anywhere, but they continue to, and they call us to complain. Oh, vehicles, buses are going to Douala, buses are going to Mbunda, buses are going to Bafoussam. If there are no passengers in those buses, they will go nowhere. Why can't people understand this? The restoration forces do not have to come there every time to enforce some of these things. And in this case, they will not do it because it is about the people themselves.
Secretary Chris, you can say that. We could factor in many other things besides stubbornness. There's also the element of desperation, and I believe there's no human that can survive the fury of desperation. Our people are desperate. I'll tell you. You know, I'm from Ground Zero. They are desperate. But don't forget also the element of infiltration. We have a lot of Francophones who live there, a lot of them, and they are business people. They do this poultry farming, eggs, business, fowl, and so on, back and forth to their land and back to us and so on. So I agree. I'm just saying that we have to consider all of these factors while insisting that our people should obey. They must obey leadership.
I think something is happening with your microphone there. I think we lost your microphone. It's very shallow right now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's still shallow. Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Maybe you may come back in the course of the.
No, it's important that what I have to say should be heard. So let's get it clear. Is it coming clear now?
Still not. We can hear you. We can hear you clearly, but the voice is quite shallow, not what it was from the beginning. Try again. Let me see.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Is it good now?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. What I'm saying is our people must learn to trust leadership. They must learn to obey leadership, especially in times of difficulties as this. We need to see the spirit that led them, the candor, the dominion that led them on 22nd of September 2017. That spirit has to be renaissance in them. It has to be reborn. Because when you fail to take simple instructions now, we are going to deplete our population that has been dwindled by the guns of life of the Cameroon already. This pandemic is very severe, very serious, and very true. You have your brother, Secretary Ellert of Germany, who survived it.
Right.
This is to tell you that it is real. It kills black people. So our people, please, we need to take instructions. Someone who kills your parents, raise them in their homes, burn children, lock up parents, do whatever they want to us. We must subscribe to the policy or subscribe to the operation of our parents. Someone who does that, you cannot pay for the number of pandemic situation. So the only people you can rely on is yourself right now. You have to rely on yourself, and one of the ways to do it is to respect simple rules and regulations.
Comrade Karim, we're still having the technical issues with your with your audio. I will ask that you log out and log back in, and let us see if that makes. No, it's still bad. Log out and log back in.
When you say shallow, is it low or is it low? Is the volume down or shallow?
Okay, go ahead. Let me hear. It seems to got better.
Is it low or shallow? How can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I think that is better.
Is it better? Is it better now?
I don't think so.
Is it better?
That is a little better. Let's try that and see. So, talking about people on ground zero, I think they should know when we pass out these instructions, they are not meant to punish them or to put an additional burden on them. We just want them to be safe. And when we say they should stay home, they should stay home. When we say the market should remain shut down, the market should remain shut down. In spite of what this Paul Nchobang, something like that, the mayor in Bamenda out there. People should start listening to the instructions we are giving them, because if they have 1 or 2 cases of the coronavirus anywhere in the territory, thousands of others are going to be infected, and thousands may also die. If people are dying here in New York, in the USA, the way they are dying, with all their technology and experienced medical doctors that they have, I don't know what will happen in Ambazonia if it gets there.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but the quality is just bad.
Oh God!
Just log out, and then just log out to the login screen, and then just log back again. That's what. Let's see if that works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, why
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think that is better. I need your camera spin around to the landscape.
Can you hear me?
Perfect. It's good now.
All right. I hope it stays that way.
Perfect.
Okay.
I hope it stays too. Yes, so you can go ahead and complete what you were trying to say.
Yeah, I can see many people have been complaining. Actually, they didn't get me. What I was trying to say, they lost me. But I'm trying to say that we must respect leadership, and Southern Cameroonians must focus on what they have to do now. I think I should repeat this. People who have massacred your parents, massacred your babies, your sisters, lock you up, lock your brothers and sisters and your mothers up, cannot care for you for the pandemic today. Ladies and gentlemen, the only good can come from us and us alone. It is time that we must face ourselves. One of the safest ways to do that, especially to ground zero, is by listening to leadership. But I would like to
I'm sorry, we still have the problem repeating.
Let me change position and see what happens. Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh God! Why does this always happen when I come live? Maybe
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm going to have to hold the phone. All right. How about that?
Yeah, that is better.
Okay. All right. Can our viewers see me and hear me?
Yes. All right. So
okay.
let's move on.
Yeah. So basically, I was saying that we cannot trust people who have killed us over the years to save us from a pandemic that has taken even the best of technology and science off their feet. We must listen to ourselves. But why also we are insisting that ground zero must obey instructions like this, leadership must be swift. I've been in diaspora and I've realized we are much ado about almost nothing, sir. We spend long meetings to decide on very simple issues. We spend long meetings to quarrel over ACs, over long write-ups. There is no time for that. We must be swift in action. Look, a diamond can catch even a snake to save themselves. If our people don't get what they need to get from us, they'll turn to the devil and get it. We must be swift. We should not preach. We should teach now. We should not talk. We should act now. This is what ground zero needs, sir. So I call on both sides, myself, ground zero, and leadership. We have to stand up to the task now. Diaspora must realize God sent them to defend their homeland at this particular time, not because they were smarter than anyone. This is destiny, and this destiny is going to be questioned. The destiny is going to be questioned not because you are not there to be questioned. Imagine such a piece. Look at the world as we have it today. A young girl taught me something here in the West, a small black girl. She said what she has learned out of this pandemic is that the world doesn't need us. Look at the trees, look at the sky, look at the water. Have they changed? No. Actually, they seem to be more peaceful since we are all quarantined. This is something the diaspora should take as a lesson and go back into those pockets that they hide. Prefer to come and intimidate us back at home with one gunner, a man, and so on. Go and help your people. They are dying now. This is what is the case, sir. We must reach out before La Republic reaches out to our people. We must reach out. We shouldn't be talking about this.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. Again, my problem with ground zero is not listening to the instructions we are passing on to them. We can put millions out there and put millions of face masks out there. If they will not listen to what we are telling them, it is good for nothing. I think they have to start locking their shops, the markets, the churches, and staying home. The pastor called me yesterday and said they picked up one of his elders at the church. And my question was, what was he doing in the church in the first place? So people have to start taking instructions. If you put millions on the ground to save people who cannot listen to simple instructions and obey them, it will be good for nothing.
You're absolutely correct, sir. And I'm sure I questioned that, and I urged them in strong terms possible to obey leadership and take instructions, particularly. It's just that I wanted to make a balance that I see some sleepy nature in the diaspora. And right here now, I can understand where it comes from. So we need to do more than that. We need to shut down the flat lie of Glyphosate Cameroon, of they being the primary assistance, primary source assistance to our people by us setting our standards right, lending our hand first, not always reacting, but proacting, not always fighting, but inciting. We need to start doing this. So, and of course, I'm going to try and pass out another message, a separate one for Ground Zero, urging them. But trust me, there is this frustration, there is this fatigue that has come into our people, not that they are tired of their revolution, but they are tired of the attitude of our diaspora. This doesn't mean our diaspora is not doing anything. They're trying. I do thank them for that. There's an enormous effort in this regard, but I think they could do better, and especially we should be able to preempt. We should be able to preempt, because this news of convicts started in the West far away before it went to Africa. I think we slacked a bit. We didn't imagine that, okay, France will have to share it to their child, and their child can just take it to Southern Cameroon, and that's exactly what's happening. So I agree with you to urge them to take instructions and follow leadership, and we are going to insist on that. This is the message you should carry actually.
Now, you recently had this conference over there in Canada to brief our Canadian comrades with what is going on with the Swiss initiative, and I guess other things, specifically on Ground Zero. Who was invited to this meeting?
Oh, now listen. Okay, all right. Thanks for that question. I think it helps clarify a bit. Myself, I was invited, but I've had actually 3 physical town halls in Canada and a few meetings, and then the big town hall was supposed to be on the 13th of last month, but it didn't occur for obvious reasons. The country. And there was one which is supposed to be at Montreal, about 4 hours away from Toronto. So they decided to bring it together because there's more time. The revolution is on, we need to be together on everything. They decided to bring it together on the Zoom conference. So I was invited, and also Rebecca Tinsley was invited. So actually, basically, I had an invitation because I was the main speaker. Rebecca also is a third-party guest. Okay, so she has an invitation. But by and large, it was a popular public invitation, just a Zoom invite, and especially with a video that came from the organizers saying that they did not invite certain people specifically. I now know that, okay, it was just a general invite, and I was invited. Canadians in Toronto, Southern Cameroonians in Toronto and Montreal were particularly invited, and of course it was open to any other Southern Cameroonians so that we can put our minds together and find ways forward.
And I thought it was. I thought this meeting was about the Swiss initiative, but when you mentioned Rebecca Tinsley and others who were invited there, what was it all about?
Can you still hear me? Because it's like my video is frozen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You are not frozen.
It's frozen right here to me. Anyway. Okay, so good. All right. I hope our people can hear too.
Yes, they can hear.
All right.
We're having a lot of frustrations with the audio, but we're barely managing it.
All right, listen. There are things we can share like this, and there are things we cannot share. Diplomacy is not something that like noise, just like money. Money doesn't like noise. So diplomacy also is like that. Actually, Rebecca Tinsley was not the primary invitee. She has replaced another person who was the right diplomat. But for me, and what I understood the organizer's position is that let's get some message from a third party. Not knowing what the third party will say, let's just get the message. So another person actually whom I met, a diplomat from Ottawa, She actually left Ottawa all the way, the capital, to meet me here. Was supposed to be there physically on the 13th floor to happen, but it didn't happen. It was supposed to be, she was engaged with some government work. So then she asked if she could be replaced by Madame Rebecca, which to me was also a good choice. And the organizers chose that. So yes, of course, it was about the Swiss process, and what she said rallied, what she said by and large surrounded that process.
Okay. Now let's.
And if you want me to add to Chris, if you want me to add, I've sent her an email, because this is what southern Cameroonians must learn to do. I've sent her an email and I've asked her, with her permission, if we can share that particular meeting. I'm waiting for a reply. If she gives a reply, southern Cameroonians are going to take a view of the entire conference. So Chris, we cannot in any shape, size, or form understand any written thing or recorded thing, audio or video, if you don't get them in its entirety. You cannot quote Jesus and say, I'm the way, the truth, and the light, and claim you've understood the whole thing. No, you need to start from the beginning of John chapter 14, and perhaps after, that's the context. So again,
now, I guess you are here referring to some footages which were put out there by an activist trying to essentially misquote Miss Rebecca. Am I correct?
Secretary Chris, I can see people are still complaining they cannot hear me.
It's unfortunate. Why not just log out again and see you can log back in? Let's see the audio is better.
But I wonder if it's from my end, Secretary Chris.
No, it's from your end. This end is quite okay. It's on your end. Because when we started it was okay. Suddenly it went wrong.
How is it now? How is it now?
That is good. That is good.
All right. I just hope they can get it too.
Just stay where you are. Whatever you did, that is the way to go. All right, so let us get back to Bamenda. Again, I think you didn't answer that question. You were referring to an audio footage, a video footage put out there by one of the activists trying to misquote and misinform Ambazonians about what Rebecca said in that conference. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, and really, I don't know what that particular comrade's intentions are. And I just let me trust.
Comrade, I realize when you pull backward, when you lean backward, the audio issue comes up. If you sit erect,
okay, how is it now?
Yeah, that's
how is it now?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, the Quran actually teaches us that if you're in chapter 21 of 25 of the Quran, that if you get a message, you should check it out before you share with another person. I'm sure that's the basics of journalism, right? I mean, I don't understand why the rush. Listen to me. Madame Rebecca's position is an opinion, an advice, which is good. And of course, she had a rebuttal by myself. I gave her a rebuttal, which of course clarified her because she did not reply to it. And in debate, when people don't reply to your point, serious point, it means they have submitted. But she replied to another thing. What did she reply to? Again, I can quote this. The simple question I asked her: would she qualify what is going on in southern Cameroon as genocide? She said yes. Isn't this important? Why not put that to your people?
Exactly.
Why cherry pick a parable of misrepresentation, and spit it out there? So we need to change all of these attitudes. This grandstanding, it doesn't help anything. It doesn't help anything. It reduces us instead. So I think let's pass this and move on to.
Well, that is the problem with activists out there. They put out what they think serves their interest, which is very, very wrong. And I have made this appeal. I will make it again. Let us put down these petty grandstanding and trying to toe our different groups' line by putting out only what we know fits our narrative. Let us focus on the bigger interest, which is freedom for Ambazonia. This idea of picking up footages, video footages, and trimming them to fit your narrative, it is disservice to the revolution. Is that not the case?
No, no, that is the case. And what my concern is, people should think about this.
Comrade, the audio again is an issue.
Oh.
There is some weird noise. There's a weird noise. Do you have anything?
I'm in a very quiet place. I'm in a very quiet place.
All right, let's take a brief break out and figure out what is going on and see. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a brief break out of here and come back to see if everything is okay. So please stay tuned. Do not touch your remote. Protest in Bamenda yesterday involving bikers, Okada guys, whose motorcycles were confiscated and impounded at the Legion upstation in Bamenda and the mayor office downtown Bamenda. Yesterday, they all stormed the streets of Bamenda requesting a release of those motorcycles, but they were not released to them. The bikers were intercepted on the way to upstation Bamenda, and they sat on that spot until 8 p.m. alone, 8 p.m. yesterday. What is this regime up to in Bamenda? Lele Afrik and the mayor, the colonial mayor, the colonial governor, what are they up to? What I'm learning is that they are trying to do everything to stop ghost towns and to make sure that the overwhelming majority of the bikers in Bamenda are francophones. What are you hearing? I know you have connections on ground zero.
I've not really invested a lot of time in digging as you may have. But you see, one can say that this is no more oppression. This is no more colonialism. Talk less of neo-colonialism. This is full-blown slavery. That a population that has been deprived of academic jobs, of intellectual jobs. Most of those Okada guys, most of those Okada drivers are degree holders who have turned back to ride bikes to earn less than 1,000 francs a day to feed family, are now deprived of that economic means at the same time is equal to slavery. Let the records of heaven have this. Now, what are they up to? Yeah, don't forget, it is their scheme to popularize the southern Cameroons. This is a scheme that started since in the early 60s. To popularize the southern Cameroons, take over choice locations of lands, take over lucrative businesses, instill their banking system, run their banks, challenge the only one that we have after crumbling the Cameroon bank, challenging credit union. Yeah, so it is known as pauperization, a way of making the people perpetually poor. You know, when you are perpetually poor, you beg cap in hand. But Southern Cameroonians, God willing, inshallah, will never beg cap in hand. We will never. So it is a means to get the population frustrated. But this is what people don't know, that they have their plans and God has his. You're making the people rather extremely angry. You're making our point to the people. All the debates we've had in TV, beating all the federalists with arguments that doesn't have them standing on their feet anymore. All the debates that our people who don't understand grammar, English grammar, could not understand, is being explained by the action of this regime to them with this kind of barbarism. Did you not even hear that the mask, face mask, that those things they sell 100 francs? I don't know if I'm getting the information correct, but our people are being charged, is it 5,000 or 6,000 francs for those things?
For a face mask?
You can, yeah, I saw something like that. I just hope I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, I retract that
people
statement.
Are being charged 6,000 francs for a single face mask. You mean a carton?
This is what I heard. I hope I'm wrong.
Single one?
This is. Can people? I hope people from Ground Zero can call in and perhaps let me retract that statement. But that's what I heard. I hope it is false. Well, I was just making that point to say that this is a simple way of getting the people frustrated. That is the plan of the regime. But I say that they are digging a big hole in trying to cover a small one. They are making the point, Secretary Chris, you've been trying to make for the past 3 years. They are making the point Diga was making some 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. They are making exactly the point EML Endele made in 1961. They are making that point. So again, let our people tread with caution. Let the world see what is happening. That you stop. Secretary Chris, you should know that Okada business is about 40 to 50%, or if not 60, the economic drive for Southern Cameroonians. That is all they have. That is what all young people have to feed their family, pay school fees for their children, go to hospital. This is what they have. What do we have? We don't have anything. We don't have industries. We don't have factories. We don't have airports. We don't have nothing. This is what we have.
And majority of these bikers are graduates, some with master degrees, first degrees, who cannot find a single job. The government cannot ensure that they have jobs, and they have taken to this hobby, and yet they come to impound their motorcycles. Now, what we have also learned is that some of these motorcycles have been found in Yaoundé, sold there by some of the military in Bamenda. In fact, we were told that the reason the governor would not ask for the release of those impounded motorbikes is because not all are there, and so if some are released, others will demand, will be wondering where the others are.
Oh yeah, okay. And then by the way, yeah, so permit me we withdraw this statement. I'm sorry, Southern Cameroonians, and my apologies to the world. So actually, I got it confused. It's actually a fine for not wearing a mask. But again, this did not put the cart before the horse. Governments have subsidized all of these things. Yeah, as a matter of fact, in Canada, companies who would supply other things that were not necessary, that are not essential products, were subsidized by government to produce essential products like hand sanitizers and masks. What has this government done to charge 6,000 on a vulnerable population? So either way, it is wrong. Yes, that logic fits in. That since, because these guys are thieves, this is what they do. The military has broken into stores, stolen things. They are thieves. So now they cannot account for all the bikes. So if you give 10, where is perhaps 900 and something?
Right.
So I'm sure they are in a tight position. They have a predicament. And yes, this is what happens when you think you can swallow anything. There is a bone that is going to get stuck on your neck. So something is getting stuck on your neck.
Now, this is the second day of strike, and the bikers are not getting their bikes back. What would you suggest or advise that they should be doing at this moment in a country where laws don't work? Everything goes by the law of the jungle.
Well, the only thing they can do is protest. I would advise them that they know that these people are in a spree, they are in a bloodbath mission to finish our population and occupy that land, which they will not succeed. As a matter of fact, that is a sign. When you start seizing commercial bikes, when you start locking up old women, when you start all of this kind of nonsense, it's a proof that you've been defeated. In my opinion, La République du Cameroon has been defeated, Southern Cameroons. They have been defeated, my people. But let's make sure we don't lose the war, because they are being defeated, but our demeanor may not ensure our end goal. So this is a sign of tremendous defeat on their part. Yeah, so what our people should do, we know this brutal regime, we know their forte. Their forte is make you a dog, name you a bad dog for that matter, and shoot you dead. So they have to protest. Now, what we should do, which I don't have the...
Is there anything wrong in the suggestion that we have made that going forward, anybody found riding a bike in the city of Bamenda or the northern zone in its entirety is a suspect, a spy, a French Cameroon spy? Because if they are profiling who is riding a motorbike in the city of Bamenda, leaving some to go, which we know are francophones, it is essentially that all those bikes pile up at the upstation and downtown Bamenda, they belong to our indigenous Ambazonians, but only francophones are being allowed to ride. So, is it wrong to say all of these francophones should be stopped or arrested those of them riding Okada, bicycles in the city of Bamenda, they are Francophones?
Well, Secretary Chris, you would realize I'm not in the liberty to use.
I know I'm putting you on the hot seat right here, going by where you are.
No, don't worry, please. Feel free to do that. I'll take myself off that hot seat. You know, I belong to Ground Zero, so I don't have the liberty of language as others may do. But basically, this is it. Our people are serene people. We know that protest would be met with this brutality, but there are other ways to mount some more pressure. All right.
Yes.
Instead of going to upstations, which they will even be blocked midway without any result. What all of the population must do, the population now must help. It is one for all for one, isn't it? We cannot leave it to the bike riders already. Don't forget, at the inception of this escalation, when all the whole thing with Comrade Mancho and Benji were on, Benji was actually arrested. It is the Okada people who released him. They are the ones who went in, about 3,000 of them, to judicial police to get him released. The Okada people played a huge role in sounding a noise that the world needs to hear, including waking you up, diaspora. The Okada people will woke you up. It is time the rest of the population stand by them. The population has to shut down the city peacefully and say, give the bikes of our brothers. Southern Cameroon as a whole, not just the northern zone where it has happened. Southern zone, if we are in this together, Southern zone must extend a hand of good faith, love, concern, and sacrifice by taking days off to say this thing has to stop, give the bikes. They should shut down everywhere. They can just sit on the floor and say nothing moves. Shut down the major exits. Nothing moves, nothing enters. Give the bikes. We need to stand with these people right now. That is my suggestion. We cannot leave it to the fate of people who are already demoralized. These children don't have food to eat. They don't have food to eat.
You are very correct. And I think in addition to that, every Francophone business in the city of Bamenda should be shut down because they cannot come into our territory, set up their businesses, and then shut down our own businesses. I think every business, Francophone business in our territory, Bamenda in particular, should be shut down. And the restoration forces with the bikers, they can do this easily if they are not being returned their motorbikes. Nobody should be allowed to do anything if these bikes are not returned. We cannot sit back and have our people get ridiculed by these guys. It doesn't work. Right.
So I agree with every other thing that has to do with the population standing for these boys who have given their lives for us. The diaspora woke up because of Okada people. This one I know. So we need to show. I'm surprised that the population of Bamenda, I mean, these Okada boys, Secretary Creeks, you know, in southern Cameroon, we don't have roads. So our mothers earlier, when they go to the market, they are left either with the help of people, passerbys, onlookers, to take their things from junctions to homes. Homes whose roads are impassable in some cases. They need to cross little bridges and all of that. With the emergence of this, our Okada, these Okada boys are able to take our parents to their doorstep, park their bikes, take these bags into the doors and houses of these parents. And you stop them. They are the ones who rush. We don't have money. We are poor people. We don't have vehicles. Those who have vehicles don't have fuel. When you have illness, emergencies of health, these Okada people are the ones who will rush into the quarter, take people in and take them to the hospital. And you stop them from walking.
But
and you have clowns who call themselves mayors, clowns who put on yellow t-shirts and they are doing nonsense in the city.
The most vexing thing about all this is that our people are profiled. So, if you are Ambazonian, your bike is not confiscated and impounded. But if you are Ambazonian, your bike is confiscated and impounded in our own land. Francophone colonial administrators doing this, it's like calling our bluff and saying, all that nonsense you are doing, we don't care. We will do what we have to do. Is it not impunity?
No, it is worse than impunity. I mean, if there, I don't know, I'm not in good in English as you do, but it's impunity. It is just a clear sign of disrespect. What the hell can you do anyway? And they do this in French. That is what can kill me. They will take these guys to jump down in French, take their keys in French, collect their vehicles in French. And the worst thing is that the aid would be Southern Cameroonians. The primary aid to this nonsense will be Southern Cameroonians. So it is my strong opinion that this is a legitimate call embedded in law that we have the right to protest. Southern Cameroonians must flood the street and stop this. They must stop this. If I were there, I would lead this.
No,
they need to come out and stop this nonsense. You are very correct,
because if they do not stop this, it will be transferred to the southern zone. And before you know, every Okada rider in Kumba will be profiled, the bikes confiscated and impounded. The same thing will happen in Boya, in Moyoka, in Victoria, in Tico, in Munya, all these places, in Mamfe, everywhere. Their bikes will be confiscated, impounded, and only Francophones will be allowed to ply those streets with motorbikes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a message we are sending to you on Ground Zero. This is the time to rise up for your rights in that country. In that country, these people have ruled over us, rule and reign over us for 60 years. 60 years. After 60 years, if we allow them continue with this impunity and disrespect, then we are the worst fools that ever exist. Karim, there is a new colonial mayor out there in Bamenda, Paul Achomba, and this guy is beginning to do exactly what Ikema Patrick was doing in Boya. On Monday, he went out to the Bamenda market, shut down stores, put locks on them, and he is promising fines to those who do not come to their shops on Monday. And remember, Monday is our regular ghost town days, and he is telling these people, you don't come and open your shops on Monday, the shops are locked up and you will pay hefty fines before they are open. What would you do in this situation to this reckless administrator, so-called?
He's a big boy. He's sitting on a big seat. He's a big boy. But look, the Quran says when God allows you to go astray, nobody can bring you back. And when God puts you on the right track, nobody can take you off that right track. And you see, this is why Jesus Christ will say, though they have eyes, they don't see. They do not hear, neither do they understand. I mean, this is Ekeba. Where is he today?
Yeah.
Where is that guy today?
But they don't learn.
This
right?
is Mbanda.
What is Mbanda? Yeah.
Mbanda who uses his intellect and his power against his own people. Mbanda who uses his position, his age and power to suffer and stand against the justice for his people. Where is he today? Look at how that old man passed out. Look at the singlet he had. Look at how they laid him in that boxers.
Yeah.
Where is he today? Imagine that today Southern Cameroonians have been radicalized to that extent where people die and we rejoice. Our own people die and we say, thank you, God.
Right.
Yet you have people who taste power and have some chest pocket money, speak some little English. I call it some little because if tested on real grounds, it will fall from the bucket, and come out to challenge a people who has told the world in any shape, size, or form, with every microphone that needs to be heard, who has told the world for 4 years that we are not listening to this regime. You come and you say you have a power, you're a new guy, you have strategy to defeat what the people have determined. Well, we wish him luck. I wish him luck. I wish him all the luck. But if he is on the soil of Bamenda, that Southern Cameroon, this particular Bamenda, I will leave him to that soil. I leave him to the imagination of the rains, the sky, the river, that river Mezam of Bamenda, and the blood of baby Martha, the blood that alien shedded, and now her face is in distraught. The head that was beheaded in Boyo, the first head of Samsoya, Akum Julius that was killed on the 8th of December 2016. Our parents who have been raised, the set that I went to, I leave him to that. So, Secretary Chris, there are certain things, don't even bother belaboring on that. I leave him to the trees. The trees are our witnesses. The blood of our people is enough to deal with such people because they can't just listen. They can't just learn, right?
It's
if he has police number, you can call from me and ask him what it is.
It's unfortunate that they never learn from history. You quoted the case of Ekeme Patrick and Joseph Mbadam, who are all gone, and yet you still find people like this mayor in Bamenda doing what Ekeme in particular used to do. Does he really think that, Bamenda people will be stupid and foolish to allow that young man to go about shutting down shops in Bamenda and spraying people with chemicals he doesn't even have the courtesy of educating people as to what that chemical is all about. I think everybody in Bamenda, everybody, and I mean everybody, should be rising up to these colonial officials whom we have never elected in the first place. Particularly this mayor. I think he has a price to pay. Now let me take you to this so-called reconstruction thing that they are talking about. What are your thoughts about this so-called reconstruction that La République du Cameroon is planning to start on ground zero?
It's laughable, isn't it? Have they finished reconstructing their minds? Well, it's a child's play. It's a distraction. They're trying to take away the focus. You know, the international community now have their eyes on our case. They're trying to pretend that they have control of the stuff, and we don't need their construction. If they want to reconstruct something, okay, well, let's start with this. What about reconstructing 1961? Let's talk about 1961. That is the root cause. What about reconstructing Baby Mata? What about reconstructing Santa Cocos? Victoria Gypsy Port, the airports, Cameroon Bank. What about that? Can they? But we won't give them so much work. Let them give us just Baby Matter, and then we can allow them to reconstruct anything. We challenge them to that. So God says in the Quran, with all the things you think you know, you and the jinns, the wise and the dull ones, can you produce a fly? No. So we are telling La République, when they can give us Baby Matter, then we'll talk about reconstruction. So let's not waste time on that. It is a distraction. And by the way, Secretary Chris, again, all of this, I mentioned about the Southern Zone working hard in solidarity with a zone that is facing a much more predicament now. And I'm serious about it because the Southern Zone is very, very lukewarm. And all of this goes back to the diaspora. And this brings me to an underpinning that Rebecca brought. She said, I'm not telling you guys to forget your history, but I'm advising you that the international community doesn't really care about your long write-ups on history.
Yes.
You should focus on what is happening. That is a valid advice. And this is what we do. You are in fora with Southern Cameroonians. All people spend time, they write long English. I don't even have time to read that. Or they put down long audios. When we have issues that are boiling, issues that should take 3 statements to decide upon, people want to show how they know and they don't know, long grammar. We need to stop that, Secretary Chris. All of these things we are saying, if our people have to go out, they need the diasporan support. If you need the bikes to be released, diaspora stand up and walk. When people go for protest, there are some people who always bring them water to drink, bring them some food. You see that in Europe. This requires some funding. And if we are not working, our population, 2 million overseas, which of course our 5% are only the ones involved, can try and do this. So yes, this reconstruction business is a smoke screen to tell the international community, you know, La République is doing her best to run away from a table. You can see our friends, federalists, they have been beaten.
Yeah.
We have beaten them, and now they don't talk anymore in terms of debate. La République has already learned from that, and they are good learners. So they are running away from debates, and they are doing everything to prove to the international community that they have this. that they got it.
Talking about our federalists, most of them have endorsed the special status, isn't it? So they're no longer talking about federation. It's about one Cameroon now, with Monzu is sitting on the board of the special status implementation. Cardinal Tumi is there. I mean, quite a number of them sitting on that board. These are people who talked about federation, and they are now on the board of the special status to implement their special status, which is one Cameroon. Isn't it a shame?
Oh yeah, they are free. They are free to even do a special program if they want. If they want new courses in the university, they can do it. They are free to do everything, but the truth is that they are not doing on behalf of Southern Cameroonians, and they are not doing it even in Southern Cameroon. So you know what? You know Judas. We only know about Judas. What people really know is that he says, "What shall you give me? So I deliver him unto you." The betrayer. But we don't know, if people fail to realize that Judas, he didn't have to steal. Judas was given everything. Judas was the treasurer of funds that Jesus Christ had with his disciples. He was the one keeping all the money. And the book of John says Judas was a thief. He was stealing from it. Jesus knew, and Jesus did nothing to him. He is still the one who goes to ask for silver to go and betray Jesus. So this is what has happened. Barrister Bala had the opportunity to be the president of Southern Cameroon, didn't he? He had the opportunity to lead. He had it. Yet, he's the one who wanted federation, and they gave him special status. By the time they finished discussing that their special status, La Republic will give them something lesser than special status, perhaps special fools. That's what La Republic will give them. Let's not bother about that, Secretary Chris. The world knows who we are. The world knows where we are. This is why the Swiss process is very important, because for the Swiss to say they want to mediate between us and La Republique, they have acknowledged we are a separate people. When we keep smearing, blackmailing this kind of processes, and this is the message Rebecca Tinsley brought, that the diaspora has to rally behind this process. You see, the federalists know that they have been defeated in debates, not even by our experts. Professor Anyangwe did not handle them yet. Comrade Valindana did not handle them yet. Some of us who are not even historians or politicians finished with them already, right? So they know that they have no seat on any form of negotiation table when it comes to the statehood of our country. So they are looking for their relevance by endorsing their special nonsense. That is it. When you target low, you get lower. They targeted federalism, special status. They are targeting special status. Wait, let the saga in La Republique cool down. You see what they'll give them. Whatever is boiling in La Republique, let it settle down. They'll give them something else.
Now, let's get back to the Swiss initiative. With all that you know, having attended some meetings with the Swiss and with HD, what would you say to critics of the Swiss initiative, the activists, some other groups who have been very, very critical of the Swiss initiative? What message would you send to them?
Oh yeah, I think what I disagree with them is their mannerism. But the questions all of them have about the Swiss process are questions I would like to have the Swiss answer, and they are answering it, including yesterday, dear Southern Cameroonians. They answered a lot to us, the government and HD. And again, I've taken time to explain the difference between the Swiss government and HD in this particular mediation process. The Swiss government is the initiator. HD is the organization that is leading the mediation. HD is not even the mediator. They are leading the mediation. A mediator would be appointed or has been appointed by Swiss government that would work with HD. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody can force anything down our throats. If we are not comfortable, we can walk out. But we cannot do what we call in debate or in argumentation after the fact justification. After the fact justification is a process where you say something is right or wrong before you start looking for the reasons. No. Which means you conclude and then you start defending. No. First of all, build your case and then you conclude. When you build your case and then you say, because of these reasons, I think this is false. You don't say this is false and then you start looking for reasons by crook and hook to make it false. You know, that is called anachronism. It doesn't work like that. This Swiss process, to me, is the only thing that we have in terms of bringing La Republique to the table. Is it a perfect one? No. Is anyone going to be a perfect one? No. Who is going to make it perfect? Us. Who is going to make it who is going to falsify it or prove it wrong? Us. And walk out. We cannot do that from a hindsight. We cannot do that from a distance. We need to engage it. You cannot say the Bible is true or the Quran is true without engaging it. And neither can you say they are false. You need to engage in the study. You cannot be criticizing what you don't know. How do you criticize? Look, this thing confuses me. You claim, okay, Abdul Karim, you went to Switzerland. I say yes. You made Eji. I say yes. You made the Swiss
cheese, right?
Oh, which is beautiful. Oh, I love Swiss cheese, you know. I like to go there again and eat some more. You know, say to Chris, you cannot say I went to Switzerland. I said yes. You met Eji. I say yes. You met the Swiss government. I say yes. And then you tell me what I did with them. You don't wait to have me tell you. What basic is this? What platform is this? What premise is this? What foundation is this? I'm the one to tell you because you have not met them. I met them and I ate my cheese. What's wrong with eating cheese? What's wrong with that? So am I small for Switzerland to dash me an aeroplane?
The place of independence, you know that.
And by the way, this is horrible. This is horrible because I didn't even have time to eat this little chocolate I bought with my own money in Belgium. Because I was taken to serve. You tell us Switzerland gave cheese. Switzerland gave cheese. But if they give, I'll eat. And if you're hungry, just go take your own cheese and eat. Basic, simple. No time to defend all of these things. So to Chris, and this is what leadership must understand. There is no time defending all of these crap call accusations. If Switzerland thinks I'm important enough to dash me a vehicle, I'll take it. If they think I'm important enough to give me a plane, I'll take it. And what does that mean, by the way? So again, it is very, very sad that our people discredit things without understanding it. And the worst one, I say, okay, look, my comrades, I'm ready to go with you. Okay, I'm not going to Switzerland. Let's abandon that particular process. What do you have? They tell us it's coming. There's another country which is coming. I'm waiting for that country. I came live and I said,
Ambazonians, if you see any chances of we making it to the negotiation table with the Swiss and with USD.
Take it one more time, please. Take it one more time.
I'd like you to tell Ambazonians what you think the chances are with the Swiss and the USD taking us to the negotiation table with French Cameroon. With all that you know.
Okay, right, yeah. Secretary Chris, thank you for that. Thank you for asking it in that manner. I'll repeat it. I said it with you, Secretary Chris, and people challenged me and said Finland was coming. I'm waiting to see Finland. Southern Cameroonians, listen to this. The difference between me and you black people and the white people is that they don't backstab themselves. They can beat me and you, but they will not backstab themselves. It is not part of their culture. The only time another country is going to come up and say they want to start another peace process between La République du Cameroon and Southern Cameroon is when Switzerland says we are no more in this one. Until then, what can happen is that all countries will only support Switzerland, whether they like it or not. I said it sometime, people insulted and said Finland is coming. I'm waiting to see Finland come and start a parallel process with Switzerland in the Western world. That is not how liberalism works. That is not how capitalism works. Even communism doesn't work like that. It is our mad dictatorship in Africa that works like that. These guys don't work this way. Now, this is the only chance we have to have La République on the table. So to increase, the only thing that will stop La République or make Switzerland's chances weak is us. In other words, I'm saying that perhaps if we were together, not united in that sense, but working together in terms of collaboration, I wonder if La République will not be on the table already. We are the ones slowing the process. We are the ones to bring La République down to that table, not anyone else.
Now, talking about collaboration, are you one of those who feel like everybody must be on the table? Because I don't see it happening, because it is beginning to occur to some of us that not everybody carrying our flag and singing the anthem is in for this free Ambazonia, and they will do anything they can to stand on the way to the process.
Oh yeah, you're right, Sir Chris, and that could take many forms, right? There are some who are just ignorant, There are some who are extra careful. There are some who are grandstanding and being driven by their own ego. And there are some, like you said, who are spoilers and haters of our revolution. I've seen that. Even being in the West now, I've seen a lot of that. You know, people who don't even know what the revolution is all about. But what I'll say is that when I say the people, I mean the majority. So if the majority of Southern Cameroonians in those for us to sit and negotiate with La Republique somewhere, we are going to go. And for right now, the majority of Southern Cameroonians, at least 75% or 80%, are for this process. How do we know that? How do we know that? We have the IG is represented, Morix is represented, Sukadib is represented, and Abdul Karim is there representing independent voices like his own. What kind of legitimacy does anybody want? Of course, but I would prefer if AGOPC is in there. I would prefer if what other group, I don't know. I would prefer if all my comrades were there. Just so that what I don't see, let them see. And Southern Cameroonians, don't confuse this. We are not negotiating. Secretary Chris, people keep saying that we are going to Switzerland for negotiations. No, negotiations have not started. Perhaps I will not be even on the table of negotiation. And if you ask me right now, I cannot be there. There are better people, better qualified people in Southern Cameroon to defend our case than I can ever imagine. But unfortunately, I happen to be in the team that will start the process of bringing ourselves together. This is what people don't understand. There is no negotiation going on.
We are back to the audio problem. I don't know what you just did, and the audio just went back to what it was.
Can you hear me now?
It's still bad.
Oh, you went again?
Yes.
You want me to log out and log in?
Okay, maybe you try that and let's see.
How is it? Is it still bad?
You try that and let's see.
Can you hear me?
No, it's still bad. It's still bad.
Okay, let me log out.
Okay, please try log out and log back in. Ladies and gentlemen, while he does that, let me make an appeal to all our...
How is it now?
Yeah, I think that's good. Please just send the lights.
Okay, is it better, Secretary?
That is good. That is good.
All right, so Secretary, basically I was saying that people keep confusing that perhaps those of us who are going now in this preliminary stage are necessarily the negotiators. No, Southern Cameroonians. We have experts, and we may even have to hire...
You know, I have said that, I'm not cutting you short, I have said that again and again and again and again on this channel, that nobody should think that anybody in the interim government, anybody in Morris, or anybody in any of these other groups sitting in there at ARC is going to sit down on that table to speak for Ambazonia. We know what negotiations are about. We are going to have experts, people who know what it means to negotiate reparations for a war. People who know what it means to negotiate international boundaries. People who know what it is to negotiate pension. Because when we're talking about independence for Ambazonians, there are Ambazonians who have worked for La Republique all their lives and they have their pensions there. If you pick any of us and sit on that negotiation table, I don't think I will know anything about pension or about international boundaries and so on and so forth. So this is the kind of confidence we need to build in Ambazonians. And I've also said this before, that we call this our interim government or the interim government. That doesn't necessarily mean that any one of us here is going to Boya to become a minister, to become a president. If I become a minister, thank God, I loved it. But listen, I don't dream for a day I am living here to go to Boya to be the Minister of Communications. I don't think that is going to happen. So that is not what we are doing here. And I wish if all Ambazonians understood this, Abdul, I think they will all come together, we'll put our ideas together, join our hands together and fight this war until we get to Boya, then establish our own democracy. And people can contest for power and positions if they want.
You're right, Secretary Chris. Can you still hear me?
Yes, yes, perfect. 515.
No, you're totally. I agree with you almost more than I agree with some of the things I've said. Trust me. This is. I really don't understand why these simple things you just mentioned are so difficult for us to comprehend. And even if you want to look, at the end of the day, I am serving my country. Secretary Chris, I'll be turning 40 soon.
Oh,
when we take our country, when we take our country, we are going to work with our folded sleeves for 10, 15 years, 20 years to get the country working. Then I could be 60, perhaps. And then what do I have to leave? I'm just trying to say this. All of these things we are doing it for posterity, for our children, our children's children, our neighbors, our neighbors' children. We are not doing it for ourselves. But when we go to Boya, and the people of Southern Cameroon say, Abdul Karim, go and fetch us water. In name of politics, I will do it joyfully. Let's all be the John the Baptist for now. Let's pave the way. Let's be hearing the call from the wilderness say, pave the way for the Lord. Let's get that echo. That should be what should be in our heart right now. And even those, I see my comrades who would want these political positions tomorrow. With this attitude that you put already, that we know that you gossip, you insult, you bribe, you do all of these things, you do all of these bad things, you insult, you spread false news, you do all of these negative things. How would you want the people to vote you tomorrow? The very people who throw all of these lights for you are the very people that will stand and say, no, you cannot leave. The opposition is there to make us laugh. People will laugh at you if you wanted to leave at that time. So let's be careful. This is a learning process for all of us. This is a time for servitude. Let's do it like that. Let's talk to ourselves. Let's correct ourselves with respect. Ask if you don't know. Knock and the doors shall be open for you. And seek you shall find. You cannot find when you don't seek. You cannot know when you don't ask. When you fail to do that, you speculate, you assume you are present, and you will be wrong. The simple result of such demeanor is that you will be simply wrong. To know something, you need to get it. And if you need to know from someone, you want to know about carpentry, you go to a carpenter, you don't go to a barber. You want to know about vehicles, you don't go to a tiler, you go to a mechanic. You want to know about the Bible, you go to missionaries, you go to seminaries, you don't go to football fields. You won't get anything from them. You can't be saying you want to know something about the Swiss process and you refuse to come to those who have been there. How on earth would you know? Those who have been there will not be right in the truth, but they'll be right in what they are telling you because they will give you a narrative, an eyewitness, ear witness, physical witness, accounts that will give you. And then from there you can say, bro, I think I'm making a mistake.
I think I'm losing your audio a little bit again. I think I'm losing your... Just sit erect. Let's say I think I'm losing your audio a little bit.
All right. Again?
Yes. Okay, that's better now. But let me ask you an interesting question here that some of your critics out there would love you to answer. I have seen some of your critics say Abdul has never mentioned the word or called the word Ambazonia. Do you have a problem with that name?
Is it not what can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Is it not what we are talking about? I come from ground zero.
But they say you have never mentioned the name. We're talking about it, but they say you've never mentioned that name.
Don't mind them. Don't mind them. Don't mind them. Tell them to look themselves in the mirror and ask that question. Don't mind them.
But do you have a problem at all with the name?
What? The name?
Yes.
I'm saying don't mind them. Don't mind Southern Cameroonians. Don't mind them.
You like the name?
That's a beautiful name. Don't mind these people. Don't forget our people, Secretary Peace. Okay. Our people. And you see, the question did not come from you. It's coming from Ghost Profile.
Of course.
People who know I'm on ground zero, they know how La Republique twist our name. Look, we are now, listen, my dear Southern Cameroonians. This is an intellectual level of our revolution. We are using what is historic, not ahistoric. We don't go with historic facts. We want to go with historic facts.
What do you mean?
You have to be careful. I mean, look at, and they're laughing. You see them laughing, right? Southern Cameroonians now.
I don't know.
Yes. Secretary, please, let's go to another question.
I think they want you to say, hey, I don't have a problem calling us Ambazonians or calling our country Ambazonia.
Don't mind them. Are they the ones who planted the flag on the 22nd of September in Queen? Don't mind them. What's written on that flag? Forget these people.
All right, you still.
You know, our people like doing this. You know, they'll see you washing clothes and ask you, do you wash clothes? Whether they want me to say I'm not washing clothes when I'm washing clothes, I don't know. Secretary, please, let's move on, please.
Okay, all right. I guess they will get to understand you a little bit later on. Now,
yeah.
Let's talk about the death of Paul Biya and what happens to French Cameroon. I know you go by your own facts, whether he is dead or not dead. You want to see the facts, but I say it authoritatively that a man is dead. But let's look at what happened. Let's happen to the power play in La République du Cameroon. Forget about Ambazonia. That has nothing to do with us. We have our plans. We don't want to talk about it. We have our plans. But look at the power play in La République du Cameroon. You have the Nordis, you have the Bamenda, you have the Ewondos, Betty, Bulu clique. What do you really see happening when eventually they announce the death of Paul Biya? Barrister So had said a few days ago they are planning for some elections. Do you see that too? Is that what you see?
What did Barrister Fru say? Take that one more time, please.
He said they are planning some precipitated elections over there to replace Biya with his son. Is that what you see?
I don't, Executive Chris, I believe in more evidence than I will speculate. But I wouldn't be surprised because there's a lot of rumor about that. And again, this brings us back to their decree. Did you know that a man called Joseph Owana was also sent to their House of Assembly? Did you notice? By a decree? The decree went parallel with the decree of prisoners. Did you know that?
Right.
Okay. All right. So yeah, there's a lot happening. Now, coming to the first question. Yeah, definitely. I think the Nordists have been waiting to take their own pound of flesh. I think so. And the Bulu people would never want to let go of power. They don't work. They have been enjoying from the hard labor and resources from southern Cameroon. And of course, the Bamenda people are now awakened. They think also they can rule. So, but the big problem I have is that southern Cameroonians would watch like spectators in a football field without a team that they choose, and they'll be waiting for a team that begins to win for them to support. We should be looking at ourselves. What is our own master game? What is our card? I would not like us, let a few of us who are experts be doing these pronostics of what could be happening over there. But basically, what have we done? What is our own plan? What should we be doing? What are we even doing? So I would want some Cameroonians to focus in their forum.
Your audio
determining
again.
What we should do.
Your audio again, yes.
Oh, is it better?
No.
Oh God. All right. Do you want me to log in and out? Or out and in?
Yeah, let me see.
Is it better?
No, not yet. Not yet. Just try maybe logging in and out.
Let me log in.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be opening the phone lines very, very soon. If you have a question, especially on ground zero for Abdul Karim, I think he will very much love to take your question. Abdul,
is it better?
That is good. That is good. Centralize yourself a little bit, please.
Okay. All right.
All right. Yes. So, you think that the Bamenda are ready to fight? You think the Nordists are ready to fight?
Well, you can never know, but I think there's we Southern Cameroons have again given La République du Cameroon a reason to be people. I think that's what we've done for over 58 years. and now we've given them the resolve to self-determination. I think they now understand that they can also enjoy self-determination. So yeah, they could, but it's not really, it doesn't matter to me.
And you think the Babylakis with Kamto, they can do that? Because they don't look to me like people who are ready to fight, sacrifice their businesses to go out and fight for their country.
Yeah, those are people who can do anything for money. They are pretty much like the Chinese. They can do anything for money. So don't be surprised to see people amidst war. They'll be fighting war and going to open their shops or going to their farms. Don't be surprised. So they may start a fight, but I don't know if they can endure. But when it comes to the Northeast, be rest assured they can fight for 100 years if they have to.
Abdul, what would you say? What message would you give to some of these activists out there who are out? All they do is name calling, curses, and doing everything to derail the revolution. They attack everything that is not coming from their group. They attack individuals that they don't by their opinion. What advice would you give? This wasn't so at the beginning of this revolution. At the beginning, everybody was Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, but today, it is just descended to hell. With the kind of things, the type of things that you hear on the social media from activists, I really wonder whether we really still need any activists today. Tell me what you think, or what message you may have for them.
All right, Secretary Chris, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Can you still follow me? Can you hear me?
Yes, 515.
Yeah, I think it's rather regrettable. And, you know, our systems have been infiltrated, Secretary Chris. Our system has been so porous, by the way, and then it has had all of this infiltration from enemies. And then we have also there's this syndrome that came from the bars. Soon as this bars thing emerged, you saw a lot of changes in our articulation, in the way we behave. There's also, I've noticed this sympathy for Francophones by many of us, this very emotional, stupid sympathy. You know, it's not about humanity here. It's about self-determination. When you want self-determination, you must sweep outside emotion. I can see that also. And then there's also the factor of bad home training and weak education. I can see that. But the advice I have is that, ladies and gentlemen, notice this. Well, Prophet Muhammad taught us, he said, a strong man, somebody who is considered strong, is not necessarily he who is physically strong or he who speaks loudest, but is somebody who can defeat himself, is somebody who can confine in himself and stay in himself in the point of anger, someone who zips his mouth even when they are angry. That is the strong man. But the worst thing is that we must all notice, including myself, when I start to advise, I'm advising myself first, Secretary Chris, you, and then everybody that's listening to us and those that will listen later, that when we use some premises to criticize people because we have free speech, when we use a particular vocabulary to describe things and people because we have free speech, we should be ready to defend ourselves intellectually and academically when that same vocabulary and that same premise turns against us. This is all I can say. When you use a standard on people, be ready to meet that same standard when it turns to you.
And we are beginning to see that. We are beginning to see that some of these same activists are being now served with the same measure they serve others.
That is true, because it is that is it. Secretary Chris, truth is defined by consistency. Falsehood is defined by inconsistency. Consistency is not repeating yourself. It's not recycling your words. That is not consistency. Consistency is when the same measure you use to discredit something, to criticize something, when it's used against you, you remain consistent in your primary approach. That is consistency. Period. So, and that is how nature is. My advice is that we should do a rethink. We should do a rebirth of ourselves. This is why the Bible says you cannot enter the kingdom of God until you are born again. It's about time some Southern Cameroonians get born again in the revolution. We should get back in the revolution. Realize that Boya is the price. Let's have fact as our reason, and then let God be our guide. Let's not think that what we consider truth is what we consider the truth is truth. No. You'll be surprised at what would happen to your evidences when taken to a court. They'll be dismissed like nothing. Because when you present them as evidence, that is you presenting it. Those are not evidences. When it's now presented for trial, testing, for it to weigh if it measures for evidence, you see it cannot. So if we have all of this comprehension, then we realize that we cannot come and give sweeping views. We can say, we suggest, we can give our opinion, we can propose, we can estimate. But when it comes to our adversary, because we know what is going on and we don't want to make mistakes in the eyes of the international community, we would give that fact. But when it comes to bigotry, sectarianism, which is being promoted in our revolution, so bad, this sectarianism, it is so bad. And we have people bringing flat and big lies, which we cannot hold. So my advice again is that
sectarianism being introduced in the revolution.
Oh yeah, I mean the us and they, the me,
okay,
and they, instead of we. You know, it's a divide.
Right.
You know, having sect in something is sectarianism. We don't want to have that. Let's have we, even with our differences, but it is we, because we want to negotiate. We want freedom. We want to free our people. We want to give our people the best. So in that we are we. And even within the IG, for example, or within the AGOC, for another example, or within Sokader, how can one person say I? In management, Secretary Chris, just permit me give this rough example. We actually, in management, we were trained never to use the word I. And this is what I've been teaching companies, especially in Bamenda, Cameroon, you can call it in those days. And in Africa, my job, that is, those who know me will testify to this. Look, you are an accountant in a company and you say, I signed the requisition. It is correct, you did it with your hand. But the right language is we. Right. Why is it we? You are not the one who printed the document. You are not the one who is keeping the money. You are not the one who made the sales. And you are not the one who is paying the money. You are only signing that requisition. So for that receipt to get to its end result, it has to be a we thing. It's a collective job. So activists and all other surrogates, and of course, even our comrades, like you see online here, people posting insults and so on, what you should do is be objective, do not be subjective. Be a teacher, not a preacher. Be a warner, not a talker. Give advice, do not instruct. Be a friend, not a boss. This is what the revolution is all about. That is why you see people confusing, because they have brought in weak political premises into a revolution that is yet to get to its political platform. Our revolution has not yet gotten to that level where we need politics. We are yet to gain certain grounds diplomatically. So this is what I have as advice, Secretary Chris, and I stand also corrected. I love, a lot of people do give me advice, and I think I'm getting better. Southern Cameroonians, I agree with that. I'm getting better. The reason is because I take advice.
Do you being in the diaspora now for about a month or so, do you tend to see, have any different opinion from what you had being on ground zero? I mean, coming here, meeting others, talking to them, do you have any different opinion from what you had being on ground zero?
Oh yeah, you can say that. A lot of, yeah, but it is what I'd speculated some things, but I have just come to realize it is even bad. It is worse than I thought. It is actually a grievous situation. But at the same time, there's a lot of positivity. And right now, my preoccupation, Secretary Chris, is just to encourage, and I will criticize privately. We don't need any negative energy. We only need what will push our revolution forward. So anything that would cause any distraction, I will save it after we have independence, and then the courts of Southern Cameroon can take that up if it is necessary. But for right now, what we need is to focus on what is positive. Use that one. Our people need, like you're saying, by and large, this conversation have been about our people on the ground, the bikes, the COVID-19, and so on. That is where our attention needs to go to. And I need us to do so with sincerity I need us to do so with passion, with sacrifice, and with commitment. Let's do it sincerely. Anything that you do without sincerity would almost not get you any reward, by the way. So that is my focus. Yeah, there are things I've discovered which are new, and of course, not really in the negative all the way, but a lot of positivity. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have the phone lines open. You can use the phone line you find on your screen to reach us here live on the show. But before we get there, I want to appeal that before you make your call, make sure your television set, the volume of your television set is shut down, or if it is your computer you are using, make sure you shut down the volume of your set before you call. Now, I also like Abdul Karim. Please, Abdul, I'd like you to add your voice to this appeal for my prison project. I spoke about this last week, but we are raising these funds to help our brothers and sisters who are incarcerated, most of them without a crime, prisoners without crimes in Bamenda and in Boya. I'm looking for just 20 Ambazonians, 20 Ambazonians who will say, Chris, I am putting down $1,000 so that these our brothers and our sisters can be free in Boya and in Bamenda. Please add something to it, comrade.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in prison. Do not forget that, Secretary Chris.
Oh yeah,
I mean, our mothers and
but
sisters
you met
are
my
there.
mother there, and you became very good friends, and my sister.
Yeah. So I know what it is. And dear Southern Cameroonians, you can do this. Our people are lamenting, they are suffering, they are dying, and trust me, even if we have to leave these people in there without trying our best, when they come out, they'll still die in our hands. The kind of nutrition they have. What I saw there before I even traveled, I visited the Bamenda prison. You know, you took food to people, and they are telling you, brother, we don't want food, we want supplements. You know, they want medications, they are looking for supplements. And they tell you the kind of food they give them, food that is horrible, and some cabbage that is mixed with cocoa leaf and all of this. So please, dear Southern Cameroonians, what is $1,000? What is $1,000? What is $1,000? Is it not you people that tell us that you have money in this diaspora? Now your people are dying. So I'm begging you, dear Southern Cameroonians, let me start with Canada. Canada, I'm urging Canada, and I'm going to make a special appeal, even if it means just a few of you coming out with your own, whatever you can make, to help our people in prison on this particular sacred project. I'm begging Canada publicly now, and I'm going to push it further, to please reach out to Secretary Chris and see what they can do.
Thank you. And I've also stated very, very clearly that all the donors to this project will be involved in the management of it. They shall be informed once the execution stage is at hand. They shall be informed, updated on a regular basis. This is not just another my trip to Boya or anything that people call give names out there. So please call that number on your screen, or send me an email or a WhatsApp message on that number on your screen, and let us together fight for our own in Bamenda and in Boya. I have the first caller online, Corporate Karim. Let's hear what he has to say. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello, good
day.
Good day, good evening or afternoon, sir. May I know where you're calling from, please?
I'm calling from Switzerland.
Okay, what is your contribution? Are you calling for $1,000 contribution?
Not yet.
Okay.
Thank you for the work you are doing for the people of Ground Zero and the whole of Ambazonia. I just wanted to say one thing concerning the COVID-19.
Okay.
You know, I'm a coronavirologist, and I know what it means. I just want to say that You know, I also worked in Cameroon when the HIV was going on. I was involved in testing confirmation, and I can remember that what happened. A lot of people actually refused and said, "No, it does not exist. It's a white man disease. It does not kill us," and all that kind of things. Until they started seeing their close relatives falling one by one and dying. That's when people started to think that, yes, it could be. Right. So the point with the coronavirus is that the people really have to take it serious. They have to observe lockdown. They have to observe at least 2 meters of distance, social distancing, and they have to go on with various procedures of washing hands and disinfecting and so on. But I would really say the lockdown is really important to stop the cycle of infections. Because if you realize normally the common cold is actually also caused by coronaviruses. But nobody fears that because it is not killing anybody. But if you sit in a car with somebody who has just a flu, a common cold, before you realize it, 2 days later, your nose starts to run. And this is just because of the circulation in the car. So it is advisable for people to wear face masks. And if you want to go outside, wear the face mask, because you have things like micro droplets that you might pass an area where somebody was just sneezing there and he left, but you came. The bigger droplets will fall down, but you are passing and you are just breathing normally, and you will take in that. So it is so important to educate the people that they know they know a bit about what we are talking here about.
All right, thank you, and I guess that is part of the education you are passing right now. Thanks for the call. Okay, let me take this as hello.
Hello, sir. Secretary.
Hello,
good afternoon. This is you and calling from Los Angeles. I want to give a special thanks to you and Adu Karim for the great outing of today. Yes, I'm so happy that you guys touched the issue of corona, and you said that people on ground zero, they don't listen. So I want to take this opportunity to tell, to beg Adu Karim to communicate with those on the ground zero, that whenever there is something of national interest, they should listen to what the majority, the government will say. Because sometimes when they say there is a lockdown or don't go out, some other group, they come and fight it back, and it is it turns against our own population the other way around. And I also want to just let ground zero, everyone who used to be with maybe federalists or what, to come and join the fight now. Even those who wanted to collude with the bars or the cantos, you see what is already coming with Joseph Owona and the rest. So it is time that every Ambazonia should come here and let us join and fight this fight. Yes, I know some people were against the Swiss talks because they earlier endorsed La Republic National Dialogue. I think it is time we go and try it. We've heard everything Adu Karim has said. We have heard all the good things about the Swiss talk. So our problem is an international problem. It cannot be solved by La Republic. That is the reason why Pobia cannot form a government without going to France. Pobia cannot do anything without going to France to take permission from Macron. So let's join together. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Absolutely. Abdu, you have anything to add there?
Oh, no. I think Comrade Uchiba nailed it. So I'm sure the people heard. We must take things seriously. Let's move on.
Let me take the first caller from ground zero. Hello, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. May I know where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Northern Zone.
Okay, thanks for calling. You have electricity in your community?
Secretary, about the electricity, we can just say we don't have electricity. Because electricity, 1 minute, electricity, gone, so we don't have electricity.
But at least we'll have it for now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for the call. What is your contribution?
Okay, Secretary Chris, I'm very happy. Today is my best day.
Why?
Because I asked for Abdul Karim. You promised me that Abdul Karim will be with you.
Are you the one who called? Are you the one who called yesterday?
2 eyes.
Okay.
So, you know, in the absence of Abdul Karim, we were like people, we were very hungry, very angry by Abdul Karim. So, you know that Abdul Karim is our future president.
Oh.
In the ground.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, he's our future president. So today you will be aware that Abdul Karim is already our future president in Ground Zero.
I hope you are setting up the campaign office.
Yes, the office is already set.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other things, sir?
Abdul Karim. Abdul Karim is like prophet for us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I will let him say something to you. Thanks for the call.
Yeah. Thank you also. And you, I'm very grateful with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Abdul, you got to say something there.
Oh. Well, yeah, this actually put some sweat on me. Where I do miss Ground Zero as well, and inshallah I'll be coming soon as this thing is over. And basically, when the time comes for Southern Cameroonians to decide who fetches water and who spills, who's how do you call it, split woods, and who builds what, I'm sure we are going to think about that and listen to them. So for now, that is not the bottom line. And yes, of course, my veins are rooted down there in Southern Cameroon. I'll just tell him to make sure that family is secure, neighbors are secure. They should keep praying, stay clean, stay safe, stay away, be alert, follow news as they are following here on ABC, so that they can take instructions that will help guide them. What is important now is life. This is why we think that it is important also. God has his ways to teach the international community. The first reason they marshaled when they started their lockdown here in Canada is that their children's lives are more important than education, because that's the first thing they shut down. And this is not exact reason we've been saying that our children are very exposed by the bullets. So it's important. So for us now also, our people's life is very important. Let's do all the best from Ground Zero to the diaspora to try and preserve and protect life. Thank you so much, brother. My love and regards to family. And may God make me see you one day. Secretary Chris, I cannot hear you.
Okay, we have another caller here. Hello, sir.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Hello. May I know where you are calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Belgium.
Okay, and what is your contribution, please?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you for the great job that you have been doing to serve the revolution. My question goes directly to Abdul Karim.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Abdul Karim, I will not tell you, but that the problem in this revolution is so much caused by the activists. These activists, and we know for sure their affiliations. And then all of these activists, they go out there, they put information, they build conspiracies against one group or the other. But my question is, in our local language, they say charity begins at home. That if you want to discipline a child outside, you have to make sure that your own child inside is disciplined. So if
to advise somebody, you have to make sure that you yourself, you are in a better position so that you can advise that person. What am I saying? I'm saying that, like, we look up to our IG as the main, I can call it group as some other people say, but me, I call it as a government that is supposed to set an example for other groups to follow. When I see other groups attacking the IG, bringing conspiracies against the IG, well, that really disturbs me. But when I see activists that are attached or affiliated to the IG, they also bring conspiracy theories and they start attacking other groups. That disturbs me the more. So my question to you, Mr. Abdul Karim, that you that is close to the administration of the IG, is it not worth advising this administration, advising the president, advising the Secretary of Communication, that they should put their activists down and give them some education that at any point in time you must not necessarily be offensive, but at least you give a deaf ear, or you stop attacking other activists so much so that, or you stop attacking other groups so much so that at some point in time, us that we are supporters of the IG, we see our IG to be mature, and our IG can set an example for other mushroom groups to follow, than also building, like what I would say, conspiracies and attacking other groups for because they are also attacking the IG. That is my first question. Then my second question.
Please, can you make the second question very, very brief so others have the chance to call, please?
Okay, Secretary Chris, thank you. My second question is, for now, I look at the issue of this group does not have to exist, this group does not have to exist, one or two groups do not have to exist, and only a particular group has to exist. Is there a particular group that should determine which group to exist and not another group to exist? Thank you very much. I think that's the two questions that I have for today.
Thanks for the call. Abdul, I'll pass it to you.
Oh yeah, Secretary Chris, you take the second question, I'll take the first one.
Yeah, that's fine.
The second question is about policies. I'm not involved with policies. But my brother from Belgium, thank you so much for calling and for following this particular program. And please always stay tuned to ABC, because I do stay tuned to ABC. Okay. Basically, yes, to be honest, I've been advising the IG. Secretary Chris here can tell you, especially in the line that you said, I've been saying that. But what I also know is that the IG doesn't have a handle or control on each and every activist. They don't. But what we can advise the IG now here near you is that the IG can as well denounce surrogacy. The IG can tell the people that please don't use the IG as a position of insulting people. The IG should encourage people to criticize, to investigate, criticize, challenge, but insult should not come. Because a good society, the Belgium you are enjoying, the Canada, my comrades are enjoying, the US, Secretary Chris is enjoying, are all built based on debates, which means criticisms, arguments, counter, and so on. It's a beautiful thing. But when it comes with insults and lies, then it becomes theories. Most times conspiracy theories, it even becomes assault, it even becomes abuse. You see, and you can be taken to court for that. But you cannot be taken to court for criticizing people, because you'll be objective. But when you start being subjective, it's a problem. So yes, I think the IG can take a step by advising activists and denouncing surrogates. Even surrogacy itself is not a bad thing, but when you use it negatively, then it becomes bad. Just like drinking water. Water is good for every living thing, but imagine you drown one bucket of water. Then you understand that water cannot be good all the time also. And then for the second one, I'll leave it to Secretary Chris. It has to do with policy. I have nothing to do with policy or self-defense, so I usually don't take those questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, comrade. For the first question, let me say to the caller that we so much want to see the debate out there in the social media done in a civilized way. It's been a long time that I saw activists go out there, debate the issues, talk about LGA by LGA, county by county, talking about the attacks on our people on ground zero. Before I came up today, I learned of killings in Bafut. Yesterday, it was in Banga, Bakondu, I think so, or where, and all those places. When this revolution started, activists came on the social media and talked about issues, events like this, but today you hardly hear them talk about what is going on ground zero, what is going on at the national scene. All they do is come on the social platforms, call names, attack and counter-attack each other. That is no longer activism. Exactly, it is not. So, unfortunately, no one person, no one group has the power to say, hey, stop that. We can only counsel, we can advise, we cannot stop it, because these same people have the right to do what they want to do using their own platforms. But we are asking them to put national interest first. National interest first. That is the only, that's the only way we can bring civility onto the social media platform, and especially with the activists. For the second question, I would say nobody, no group has the power, the legitimacy to decide how many groups exist out here for the revolution. I can always say the smaller we are, the better we are. If you are out there and you have a dream, you have a vision, you have a plan, please identify what group serves you the most. But remember, this interim government has made a tremendous difference. It has made a tremendous difference, and I think everybody can see it. This is the only structure that remains very, very accountable to the people. There may be errors here and there, mistakes here and there, but ladies and gentlemen, of course, you know, this is not an overstatement. This interim government remains the only structure in place that gives account of what it does to the people of Ambazonia. All right, I get the next question from Ground Zero. Hello, sir. Hello. 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 I guess this caller is not online. Hello. Okay, we'll take the next caller. Hello.
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 Good evening, Secretaries.
Good evening, sir. May we know where you're calling in from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Spain.
Okay. I hope you are safe in Spain.
Yeah, I'm safe. I'm safe.
What is your comment, sir? 50 seconds so we can take other callers.
Okay, thank you. Secretary Chris, I'm so grateful with you bringing Abdul Karim on your platform. I want to pass a simple message to say Abdul Karim and to all Ambazonians out there. Say Abdul Karim, say I'm so grateful. I hope you can listen me loud and clear. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to ever know you as a Southern Cameroon. I will pray that all Southern Cameroon, wherever they are, they should try at least to follow a simple example that you are showing us. Say, I don't know the planet you are coming from. I have never seen anybody like you. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to appreciate you. I'm so grateful that you continue to keep to teach us the right way, because you are like, I don't know, you are a prophet. I don't know how to classify you. Say, I don't know the planet you are coming from, but you are somebody that we all, everybody in Ambazonia has to take a good example of, I don't know if you lie, I don't know if you can ever lie. So thank you for the work you are doing, Secretary Chris. I'm so good. I will contact you in person. I never had your number before. I had it now, so I'm going to get back to you.
You get them back with your own $1,000, right?
No, Secretary Chris, I cannot make it up to $1,000. But
all right,
I think I can do something.
Whatever you can make.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for the call. Abdul, that's a great fan of yours.
Yeah, Secretary Chris. The guy he got my eyes wet.
You're too emotional, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Thank you, but I'm not a prophet. I'm just your brother, and it's because of the good wishes like the one you passed now and the prayers that parents will give on us and people like you will give, and it's basically God guidance. And thank you so much. We stand together until freedom. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for that. Let's get to the next caller. I think this is from Switzerland, I guess. Hello, sir.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Yes, sir.
I want to say that it is said that evil persists when good people do nothing or say nothing.
Yeah.
So my question goes to Abdul Karim. Did he follow Ayaba's last outing of cutting off people's head and so on? And more to that, what about the AGC activities back at home, burning houses, killing people? What has it got to say? Because if we say nothing, then we accept what is going on. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's have him say something right now. Abdul, it's yours, please.
Yeah, okay, all right. Oh, thank you for that question. But if you have followed me very well, it is not in my attitude to criticize leaders. I don't do that. And this is one thing we must all understand. My energy is against the enemy. And Abdul Karim, for example, must not be every and anywhere. I must not stop the entire evil myself. Jesus Christ was operating just from Israel. But there were things happening in Italy, in Africa.
Abdul, I think the caller makes a very, very vital point.
Yeah, so please, I'm giving the answer.
I'm
giving the answer.
Okay,
so, and then, even when I must do, Secretary Chris here will tell you that many times I've called him to caution him, and he takes them, but I didn't need to go public. So, of course, if I'm talking to Dr. Cho now, I don't need to make you guys know. And this is what I do. When you do good, you don't make good public. You don't make it public. It's not all the things that you do, especially when it has to do with calling someone to tell them about an opinion which you find is negative. You cannot make it public and expect the person to follow you. So you're right. We need to call things to order. And when it comes to all of the killings, I don't have information, my brother. I cannot say what I don't know. I've just explained that I work with evidence. The fact that I hear on social media
the incident the caller is referring to is a speech that was made in the public arena. So I mean,
I know about the speech. So I'm saying that even if I had to make a comment about that,
right,
my attitude is that I will not have it on public space. I will do it bilaterally. I hope the caller understands. I don't do that. I would not do that. I would never come on any comrade on public space. That is if that were the case, I would have done so many times. But I will not do that. I will try and access privately. If I succeed, fine. If I don't succeed, no problem. No credit has to be given me because I do such things publicly. The only reason
the caller is calling with the opinion that when you call out such persons in such incidences, then there is a possibility that some may listen, as you say, some may not listen, but at least people know, people have you for the record that these are the kind of things that you condemn.
Oh yeah, you're right, Sir Chris, but we cannot have, for example, we don't have on record that Jesus Christ went to toilets, do we? But we know that he definitely did. So the thing I'm trying to say, when there's a big hole in the house, you don't try to increase it by setting more fractions. Whatever I say that is going to make our people get more desperate, I prefer to keep them. But I'm assuring the caller that, of course, I've been talking to Dr. Cho at the back, and such a thing, I would talk to him at the back. I would never come public with it, and I would never do it and come to report to you that I did it.
Absolutely.
I
All
hope you
right, thank
understand
you.
that,
Let's
and I
take the
think you
last
respect my
caller.
own opinion.
Let's take the last caller because time is not on our side. Hello, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on, please. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, my question goes to Abu Karim. Abu Karim, can you hear me clearly, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
He can hear you. Go on.
Okay, Chris. Hey, I've been following Abu Karim for quite a long time now, and I see that he's on the right path for everything he takes. I will want to make him an appeal for Abu Karim today that please, could he be a good advisor to the interim government? Because I'm getting a lot of good things that is coming from Abu Karim and Dum from Bohebe too. So I'm expecting that Abu Karim, from what he is doing, please be giving advice to the interim government so we can move on the right path all the time. If there's a small error, please could you step up and give a good advice? And I know Abu Karim is in diaspora now, and I'm afraid that he should not take the bad ways of all the other activists that have changed, the good ones that have changed to be a bad activist right now. Please, I'm just hoping that he should stay in the right path. And I know they said everybody that comes from Kondengi always change. I hope Abu Karim is an exception. And thanks again. That's all I have to say to Abu.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thanks for the call, sir. Did you change Nkodenge, Abdul?
You can say that.
Everybody goes there who passes through the changes, right?
Yeah, so let's thank the caller for his input. And yes, I think I want to offer my advice to all Southern Cameroonians, and I want all Southern Cameroonians to give me advice. We have to do this together. But like you said, there are institutions that need particular advice, like the IG, of course, and I'm ready at any time to provide the little I can offer, and that is what it should be. And of course, I explained to Secretary Chris and ABC what has changed in me when I left SET, and of course, you guys can see what I've changed. Can you not? So, thank you so much for the patience.
Thank you, Secretary Chris. Let me just take a last caller from London, and we will call it a day. Hello, sir.
Hello, Secretary Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I know you are calling from London.
Yeah, this is King speaking here.
Okay. What is your contribution, sir?
Yes, sir. I just want to talk to Comrade Abdul Karim.
Okay.
Hello, Comrade Abdul Karim. Assalamu alaikum.
I want to
thank you. I greet you this evening. And we have the opportunity to meet you and talk to you now. I just want to have one plea from you with regards to the Northern Zone, more especially, because this is taking place in Northern Zone. Our enemy has taken the war and trying to lure the Fulanis on the onside, and they're doing a great havoc, especially in Menchum and in Donga Mantum, where I come from. They have formed vigilantes all over the place, and they're doing a great havoc to the revolution. I just want to know what you, as a Muslim scholar and best people, someone that the Muslims can listen to you, what have you been doing so far to speak to them and caution them about the revolution and tell them that this war is not about the Fulanis, and that this war is not a jihad war, and that this war is to take back control of our land, and so that they should not continue to join the vigilantes and killing our people, because they're doing a great havoc to the revolution in Menchum and Donga Manton counties. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's a great question there, Abdul. It's something that I forgot to ask you myself. I think you can help there.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, brother from London. But if you say you've been following me, then I'm surprised you missed all of this. Because even before I was abducted, not only did I do a Facebook no, but I also recognize the work deeply because
Take your microphone, you develop the issues again.
How is it now?
Not good.
Hello? Just walking and back. Let's see.
Okay. While he does that, while he logs in and back, ladies and gentlemen, please, you have that phone number on your screen. Please support our prison, Boya Prison, and the Bamenda Prison Project. That is good. That is good. So please, I am encouraging everyone out there, pick your phone, send me a text message. I need 20 people. We have, I think, 5 already who have called in with $1,000. We need to free our people in the dungeons in Bamenda and in Boya. When this money is here with me, we will all have a meeting so I can brief you. You can be part of what we are trying to do. But please, we need your support. Let's not abandon our own in prison and let them rot there. French Cameroon government has freed their citizens, and none of our brothers or sisters in those prisons have been let out. We need to get them out, no matter the means. Yes, Abdul, go ahead, please.
All right, okay. Can you hear me now?
5 on 5.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying that if brother from London has been following me, really, he would have noticed that I think I should be one of the first Southern Cameroonian, not just the Muslim, to denounce this thing sometime last year. There's a lot of work that has been done. Unfortunately, the institution is still back after months. I've been killed and so on in the last 3 years. But I've been able to explain the differences. I didn't stop there. Sometime last year, before I was abducted, I was invited to a university, and a university institute, something like that. It's called Anikra in Yaoundé. This is exactly the case I defended. Some of you saw those, some excerpts of those things, and you can check for them online. After said again, I've done so twice. We've been doing so, brother. It is not easy, and we have to keep doing so together. I've even taken the pains to explain not just to Muslims only, but to try and explain the similarities, the things that bind Muslims and Christians, because the whole idea was to try and lure Christian into Muslim into a religious fight. I've done this, and I'm still trying my little bit, sir. So I'm sorry if I disappoint you at this stage, that I'm not delivering up to expectation, but I can only do what I can do. Let's keep trying, and yeah, education is most important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Comrade Abdul Karim. We still had the audio messed up there, but I think our caller and the rest of the audience got your response. Thank you for answering the call to come on today at a very short notice. I want to believe you are having a great stay over there in Canada, and as you plan to go back to Ground Zero, I hope that you will have a wonderful trip going back to Ground Zero. Some people think you are here to fight for asylum. No, Abdul Karim is not here to fight for asylum. He is going back to Ground Zero. So, Comrade, any last word before we go?
Yes, sir. Secretary Chris, please keep doing what you're doing, and even Caterpillar. So let me change your statement. Even Caterpillar no go move people there.
They never fix that Caterpillar.
Yeah, even Caterpillar no go move people there actually. So, and then please, dear Southern Cameroonians, you've heard Secretary Chris. We need to provide assistance to our people in the prison. You've heard him. Please get his number. If you don't have, there are many routes to get it. And for those of you who know me, you can as well get it from me so that you know how to help. I know it because I visit these prisons. Our people are in serious pain, please. So get to him, stay resolute, No one is going to come to help you to fight this war, to win these battles. It is only you who will turn around, change your attitude, stop all the negativity, focus on positive things, produce good energy, leave bad energy, support one another. Do what you can do. Don't underestimate opportunities. Grab every opportunity. Don't be ungrateful. Be thankful for the little results that God gives. Be thankful for the little effort that I can produce and you can produce also. This is what should be on our guide. Do not assume.